I'm Mrs. Kessler from Wall Street High School, and this section is on inverse functions. So first, let's talk about what inverse functions actually are. If we have the function of f of x equals x cubed, then you have this cubic function that looks like this, because we've got this squiggle line right here. So the inverse of that would actually be, it's represented by f to the negative 1. That's how you show an inverse of a function. And it's x to the 1/3, or you can think of that also as the cubed root of x. Alright, so that actually is this graph. It just takes it and flips it sideways. So really what inverses are, it's the reflection of each other over the x equals y line. So that x equals y line is actually right here. So that means that if we have a point right here, you're going to reflect that over the xy axis, and then it would be found over here. So that's actually what we're doing when we're finding the inverses of these functions. So let's go ahead and find out how to find the inverses. So mathematically, what you want to do is if we have f of x equals negative 3x minus 3, I want to find the inverse of this function. The first step of what you have to do is make it y equals. So really it's y equals negative 3x minus 3, because f of x is just a fancy form of saying y. What you want to do then is switch x and y. So when we switch these, you make it x equals negative 3y minus 3. Then from there, you want to solve for y. So if we have x equals negative 3y minus 3, solve for y by adding 3 on both sides. So you have x plus 3 equals negative 3y, and then divide everything by negative 3. So that means I have negative x over 3, and then 3 over negative 3 is going to be a minus 1 equals y. But I'm asking you, what is the inverse function of that? So your final answer is actually f inverse of x, because that's what that little negative 1 is, equals negative x over 3 minus 1. So this would be my final answer to be able to get full credit. All right, let's look at another example. Let's say we have f of x equals radical x minus 3, or x minus 3 underneath the radicals, then minus 1. So that first step is make it y equals instead. So y equals radical x minus 3 minus 1. Then you want to switch your x and y. So when I switch x and y, I really have x equals radical y minus 3 minus 1. Alright, from there then, you need to solve for y. So we need to get this radical completely by itself. So what I want to do is add 1 first. So I have x plus 1 equals the square root of y minus 3. Now, because we have that radical by itself, I want to figure out how to get rid of that radical, and you square it. So we need to square both sides, and don't forget to put that x plus 1 in parentheses because you're squaring the quantity. So I really have x plus 1 squared equals the square and the radical cancel each other out, and then we have y minus 3. Then finally take that minus 3, add it to the other side, and you have x plus 1 quantity squared plus 3 equals y. So my final answer is f inverse of x equals x plus 1 quantity squared plus 3. So there is my final answer for the inverse of x. Alright, that's it. So if you have any questions, please come and see me in the math office, or you can email me at kesslerz@wallstreetjoy.org. I'll see you in class.